Ladies and gentlemen, summoners and sorcerers, welcome back to the Grand Arena of DSA, and this is your host DSG from Dragon Slayer Games, and today we have, I think, hopefully you can use the tradition every year, as long as DSA is around, as long as I'm making content, but just the predictions and thoughts overall of the year, kind of a year in review, and what the future holds for DSA. And I will say, DSA really made this year better. I mean, I know a lot of people say, 2020 is the worst year in existence, and in many ways it could be, but there's always the bright sides you guys have to look at. And for me, and I'm sure for some of you out there, or maybe a lot of you out there, DSA was that key that made 2020 better than obviously we would ever have imagined with the way the year was starting off. And luckily, DSA actually launched right when everyone went into lockdown, more or less. So we know the story at this point, but I'm just so excited to do this video because I think it's just a really cool video. And let's go over and check out our rundown for this video. So as you can see here, we have 6 categories for 2020 predictions in DSA, and we're also going to be doing little recaps of each section at the same time, so it's going to be integrated in each section. But our first section is going to be characters, followed by game modes, exchange, character modifiers, quality of life, and community. So these are going to go hand in hand in what we're talking about, looking to the future. And there's a lot of stuff in here that's going to change the game in 2021. And remember, DSA is not even a year old, but it just feels like we've done so much already because Glue has brought so much to the table already, which I'm so happy about. But anyways, guys, let's go into the first category, that being characters. And yes, you can see there's some kind of meme pictures here and images, but they're just characters I like to see in a game. Mike Wazowski, you have Bing Bong, and Peter Pan, and I think 2 out of the 3 here could be legendary characters, that being Bing Bong and possibly Peter Pan. Maybe not Mike Wazowski. I was actually thinking probably Roz could be a legendary character. You never know. But I'd love for Bing Bong to be a legendary character. That's always been my thing. And 2021, you never know. They could bring it in. I think we could use some more Pixar characters, so I wouldn't mind seeing them in the game. Anyways, let's do a little bit of recapping here and just understanding how the characters are in the game. So we launched the game in March of 2020 with 66 characters and roughly 62 playable characters. Yakai, Zeus, Maui, and Maleficent were all in the game, but Maui and Yakai are now playable. I could be missing a character here or two, but Zeus and Maleficent are both non-playable characters to this day, so that's not going to change. I don't think it's going to change anytime soon. Now at the end of 2020, we're at 103 characters with 101 playable, and we've had some really cool additions. Guys, we started off with 0 legendary characters. Now we have 4 legendary characters and 4 legendary teams. Pretty iconic teams too. You have the Frozen team, you have Beauty and the Beast, you have Baymax with the Big Hero 6 team, and now you even have Mickey and the Sensational 6, and I think that was a cool little icing on the cake. People may argue, yes, it came a little too quick. I understand that, but I'm just happy we have content. I think that's the biggest thing. I'm just happy we have content and stuff to play with in this game and to look forward to, because if not, it'd be a pretty dull game. And in comparison, SWAG has been around for 5 years. They have 198 playable characters, and they have 51 ships, which could be considered characters as well. And it brings your total to about 249 usable, playable units in the game. That's what we call characters and ships units. So we've gotten 37 characters this year, and if you divide that by 4, you get about, I believe, 9 characters per quarter. So that's pretty good, and we're on track. And to know that we have 100 characters at this point, I think we're on track to catch up eventually to Swaga if they have slower releases, of course. And what's great about Disney and their intellectual property with this game specifically is that they have so much intellectual property compared to, I think, Swaga and stuff like that. Or at least I think Glue's releasing them a lot quicker rate. It could be wrong, just feels like that. And with Swaga, it's just a little bit different, of course. And I think I wouldn't say they're running out of characters. I do notice some characters and ships that could add to that game, but I think Glue's doing a great job. Maybe releasing too many characters, but I'd rather have too much than nothing at all. And basically, when you don't have enough characters in the game, then your bigger spenders, for instance, they're gonna stop playing the game, or they're not, maybe not stop playing the game, but they're gonna run out of stuff to modify, for instance. So that's why getting these new characters is always great for people and the game, just to have those more, just something more to look forward to and farm, and just make the game more exciting. That's why I'm happy Glue releases, you know, maybe too many characters, some may say, but I think it's healthy for the game as well. And my prediction is, if you take that 9.25, you're going to be at around 110, 115 for by the 1-year anniversary of DSA, which can be in March 2021. And at the end of the year of 2021, I'm estimating we're going to be approximately at 145 to 155 characters, depending on how Glue decides to release them. You know, with the whole year of this year figuring out their characters and whatnot, I'm pretty, you know, the Glue probably has hundreds of character models that they haven't finessed yet. So they've already probably created characters that we want, like, you know, they've talked about Jack Sparrow as with the Nightmare or Zombie Jack, and they also talked about like 101 Dalmatians. So they already have these characters set. It's just they're not going obviously going to release them. They're going to do them at a timely manner. And the reason why, for instance, I have Mike Wazowski here with a sully face is because next year is actually the 20th anniversary of Monsters Inc. So possibly they could put those hand in hand. Now Glue isn't too key of releasing stuff with anniversaries, like they thought that maybe this year they were going to release the Little Mermaid raid at the same time as her anniversary date, but that didn't pan out. Pretty close, but didn't pan out. They do a lot of releases for anniversary bundles, like those little $5 bundles with a talisman, ultimate chest coin, some energy. That's what Glue likes to do a lot of. So looking at this, hopefully these things can pan out. And at the end of the year of 2020, we have 4 legendaries already. We have 33 regular characters since launch, and I think that's really good and really healthy, and I'm glad we have them. Hats off to Glue for the great work they've done in the characters. They're beautiful, just amazing. The artistry, just the mechanics of the game, just beautiful. Actually, wait, the mechanics could use some work, not gonna lie, but just the artistry, beautiful, just beautiful altogether. So thank you for that, and looking forward to what 2021 can bring us in terms of characters. Now let's move on to game modes. So game modes, what do we get this year? We got raids, we got adjustments, we got, well, they released Club Conquest as well, obviously, and they actually did a little adjustment to that as well. But I like to see more of that for Club Conquest, because now that we have raids, we kind of seen that the Club Conquest rewards have kind of, you know, a little lackluster. You know, in comparison, they could be a lot better, and I guess that's something I hope they could do, because I remember when we got Club Conquest Wars, I thought I was like banking in, you know, the gear for gear tier 8. In reality, I was just getting little crumbs, and hopefully they can adjust that, because Club Conquest is still pretty key in the game, I would say. I think they could do some Club Conquest adjustments with, I'd like to see some type of round robin where maybe, you know, Titans doesn't go against Tomorrowland, for instance, or if there is a way to keep alliances separated in terms of fighting, but that would be a different story. But I think that Club Conquest could definitely use that adjustment to make sure that the game is still fresh and that there's a reason to play Club Conquest, because I know a lot of teams are starting to give up on Club Conquest because it's just raids that give so much more value, but Club Conquest still gives you those Davy Jones character tokens. So I hope that, you know, my club is still going at it, we're still fighting for it, we still have fun with it, we still love it. So hopefully Glue can adjust it to make it more worthwhile to go for, because in all honesty, like I said, raids just offers so much more compared to Club Conquest. Number 1 here, we kind of skipped over everything, but we're gonna go to let's go to number 1. PvP changes, including rewards, mechanics, and new tournament system. And Crixus actually brought this up to me, and you know, if you go to the top tier of PvP, those guys are big spenders. I mean, to be at that top tier, most of them are big spenders. So he said, you know, the rewards should be like 5,000 gems at the top tier, and just more incentive to play, really. Maybe a good amount of gear 8 stuff, because these guys spend a lot anyways, that they should be rewarded at the same time. Not saying that people in lower tiers shouldn't be rewarded. I think that the rewards overall should be upgraded. Like, we should be getting a couple hundred gems in Platinum 1. I think Platinum 1 and above, like Challenger and stuff, they should be getting like 500, 750 gems every season or every week for the weekly rewards. And or maybe the weekly rewards could be like 250 or 500, and then the season ending rewards could be like 750 or 1000. I think that would be much more attractive, because in honesty, and this is exactly why Crixus made his tournament, was because there was no incentive to play PvP and became a drag. But now that there's more incentives, there's rewards and stuff, and people like to compete with a new with his tournament, that's a little draw as well. And I think Glue should look into it, because it is generating a lot of popularity. A lot of people are really interested in doing it, and they need to make a tournament system inside the game. And it also taps into the number 5 down there, where you need to be able to play people directly, because it's a pain in the butt, honestly, to try and find a matchup so in doing a tournament. But it's, it's possible, but it's just kind of, annoying. But hopefully there was a way that Glue can integrate this to be able to play people directly, because it would just make the game so much easier, and actually to be more interaction within the community, to play against each other, just have more fun. And that's really, they wouldn't be losing out any money, because people will still try and get the best teams out there, invest in the teams, probably spend as well, because there's going to be ways that we can ban stuff in tournaments, stuff like that. So Fairy Slumber, step aside for a second, or Baymax outside for a second. Those type of things, I think, are ways that Glue can still make money in the game, but just making the quality of life as well a little bit better in terms of this mechanic. Now, also, number 2 there, we have a new PvE and Club PvE game mode, not from another game. Basically, I want Glue to invent their own game mode. I don't want them to copy Territory War. I don't want them to copy, what else, Grand Arena, something like that from Swaggle. I want them to make their own game mode. And, it takes, friction to make motion, and I think they need to do something. I'm sure they have some great minds there. If not, I'm gladly willing to hop on over there and help them out with a new game mode, because they really need to figure out a new game mode for PvE, but for solo, and also PvE for club. Because raids are great, but we also need another one too, I think, besides Club Conquest. Like, I wish there was something daily PvE wise that we could do. And for solo PvE, there's something called Galactic War in Swaga. I wish they could bring that something similar, but not exactly, for solo PvE. That would be awesome. And I just think it would make the game much more replayable, because right now there's some playability only when there's raids, for me at least, and doing some PvPs and stuff like that on stream. But for which there was some type of replayability within the game to make it more fun. Even, going back to the whole tournament thing, making it more esports inclusive part of the game. Lastly, or no, sorry, we already kind of touched number 4 there, so we're gonna do number 3 in our last one, because I kind of went all over the place. But number 3, 1 or 2 new raids. I think this is gonna be definitely something that's going to come into the game, and I think this is going to happen when a new gear drops or some type of new modifier comes into the game, which we'll talk about a little bit later. But new raids, my idea, you could have Inside Out raid with emotions. You could have a Peter Pan raid through Neverland against the Indians, against the mermaids, against all those type of characters over there. So I'd like for Glue to bring in 1 or 2 new raids. And I think a new raid idea would be like Inside Out. You could have an Inside Out raid with emotions. You could have a Peter Pan raid against the Indians and the mermaids and all those different characters from that film. And I think there's just a bunch of possibilities in terms of raids. Of course, people always look towards the Titans and Hercules, and also Maleficent. It's always like the raids people are talking about. Sure, that's an easy way out. That's true. Definitely possible. That's what we get Zeus and Maleficent, of course. But I'd like to see other characters as well. That'd be kind of cool to see. I think this concludes pretty much our game modes for recapping 2020 and also talking about 2021. Definitely a lot of improvement and possibilities they could bring to the game, and I'd love to see what Glue decides to do and what the community reacts to this and what the community is looking forward. And I think really with these external tournaments going on, it's gonna be pretty good. It's gonna be pretty freaking good for the game, and could definitely open Glue's eyes to the possibilities of what this game could bring to the future. Now let's move on to our third topic, which is going to be the exchange. So when we look at the exchange, they don't really change too much, and there's really not much there in terms of the exchange. I think it'd be cool if they could just rotate the characters in the sources tournament a little bit more. larger roster, I think they could take some characters from the club exchange and integrate them into Sources Tournament. I think they could bring in like Sven and Olaf, all the legendaries that have gone, I think, twice already, should be in Sorcerer's Tournament already. The exchange, all those characters should be in there, and characters like Kronk and Jangles and Facilian stuff, those guys, those like non-legendary requirement teams characters should just rotate. They can keep them in the exchange, just rotate them with another set of characters, and I think it'll make the exchange a lot more entertaining to look at, and people will start to spend more in them. You could put in Miguel in there, you could put in Oogie Boogie, you could put in these other characters to kind of make, you know, grand campaign farming a little easier, because a lot of the early game players who've been here since like March, for instance, a lot of them are hoarding their Sources Tournament coins, and they've already like almost farmed the entire roster, if not they already have. So it's something that they don't know what to do at this point. It's just kind of sitting there, and they're not. The only reason why they're doing the Sources Tournament or climbing at the roster still is for gems, which is awesome. But I think they should just do something about that Sources Tournament exchange specifically, and kind of make Club Exchange strictly for gear and switch them over, the characters over, because really there really is no character in Club Exchange that says farm me. And honestly, gear, especially where I'm at in the game, and if you're like level 55 and above, I would say it's really, you should be spending on gear. So that's, I think, where it should stay at. And they need to adjust the raid exchange as well, because it's way too much. Like 21,000 for Horn King, no, that doesn't make any sense. So they need to adjust that, need to rethink that, recalibrate their ideas. But honestly, also in the raid exchange, you shouldn't be spending on character tokens in general either. You really should be focusing on the raid exchange for gear tier 8. Now, if your club isn't doing gear tier 8 yet, it might make sense to maybe get other gear there, or possibly spend on character tokens, but it might be, I think it'd be smarter just to kind of hoard the material for that gear 8 as well, or get when you get your character there. Currently right now, the hottest characters to get there obviously are like Baymax and Hero, the tech team, Big Hero 6, some of the other Oceanics and stuff, but that's just, it's really up to you who you want to farm to get there. But of course, I still think the raid exchange should be strictly spent on gear. But if you want to farm characters, of course, that's your choice. It's the game, it's your game. You can do whatever you want, what makes you happy, what makes it fun for you in this game. That's just my viewpoint, and of course, one person's opinion isn't gold. That pretty much wraps up the changes to the exchange that I would like to see. And let's go over to our fourth category, which is going to be character modifiers. Now, this is probably my favorite topic out of all these, because honestly, it's bound to happen. I can guarantee you we're gonna gear tier 9 and possibly gear tier 10 in 2021, and I think it's gonna come along with another raid. From how Glue did the first gear tier 8, the raid, I'm pretty sure they're gonna do gear tier 9 with the raid. So that's my assumption. Maybe around the same time as last year, or they could do it maybe a little earlier, sometime like in April or May in the summer. I think that's another time they can drop it. Whenever the 6-month mark from November is, which is, yeah, about April or May. So that's when they're probably going to drop some type of new gear tier, probably 9. We already have 8, and a new raid as well. And number 2 there is more advanced system of stones. So the stone system of DSA is so simple. I love it. It's just really, do you want to modify this? Health, offense, or speed, or whatever the case may be. Just put the stone on them, do a couple events, eventually you're going to get them to the higher level, and that's about it. I would be surprised if Glue didn't add some type of modifier, higher end modifier, into the game at this point in 2021, in year 2 of DSA, similar to that of Swaga or MSF. I would really be surprised if they did not do that. And hopefully it's nothing too crazy and still very doable for a lot of people. Number 3, there's a possibility, I think, besides stones, if they could they might leave stones alone and possibly add a new type of modifying mechanic for characters. Somehow, how in Swaga there's relics and gear tier, and they also have Zetas, which complete everything. So if you know Swaga, it makes sense. If you don't know, it's just more stuff to level up characters basically. And to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if Glue did that. A lot of people will be turned off by it, of course. A lot of people will be turned off by gear tier 9, I believe. So looking to that, I think that's going to possibly come into the game. Most likely, you know, Glue wants to make money somehow, so they're already making a lot of money, I'm pretty sure, but they want to make more money, of course. Number 4 here, I think if they're gonna bring in gear tier 9, they have to adjust gear tiers 5 through 8, especially 7. 7's a big grind, 8's a big grind. They really need to adjust those, and honestly, they just need to adjust all these guys here. They need to adjust them all. Maybe not gear tier 5, sorry, but maybe gear tier 6. Gear tier 6, getting to gear tier 6 to 8. That's going to be a little more of a grind, so maybe adjustment there. I would say droplets, bring them down to 25. And for the like rose thorns, for instance, bring them down from 50 to 35. I think that's a good adjustment, and it would make it a lot easier. You know, it might seem like a little bit, but guys, that's going to be a big bit later on. Trust me, you would farm a lot more characters that way, and it wouldn't feel like such a big grind as well. Now, character modifiers, it's bound to come in the game, and I'm pretty sure you guys are going to see it as well. So hopefully, you guys are prepared for it as much as I am. So let's move on to quality of life, our 5th section, our second to last section here. So there's a couple things I'd like to see here. So number 1 is reduction in gold amounts to level up characters or double the gold disbursement. We know gold is such a difficult thing to accumulate in this game. So if they don't want to lower the amount, like to get to level 70 for instance, and that's actually another thing, they're probably going to increase level to probably 80 or 85 to match other games. And if they don't reduce the cost to level up characters, they need to double the gold amounts because people are just struggling. They're struggling. I'm sorry. People are struggling with the gold right now. And it needs to be adjusted 100%. So hopefully, you know, for instance, I think for droplets, for instance, you get like 1,000 gold per attempt. Make it 2,000. You know, or whatever the attempt is when you're doing any type of like auto winning, make the gold amount double. I think it's really going to change it up. Make in Club Conquest, for instance, I think for first place you get like 10,000 club coins. Make it 20,000 for your dailies. For club dailies, if your club does 11,000, 11 whatever it is, or 12,000, make it 24 and 22,000. Make double everything basically. In raids, the same thing. Maybe double, or in raids, I like to see the harder gear to be obviously a higher percentage farmable, or not farmable, but attainable through raids. And I think in raids overall, like maybe not all the tiers, but I think maybe even tier 3 should get some tier 8 gear as well, just a little bit. They need some help there as well. But also, just, you know, when you get if you get 100,000, you get 100,000 gold for completing the heroic raid. I think it should be 200,000 at least. They need to do something to really increase the quality of life in the game, because it is getting a little more annoying, a little harder to get that gold. And that's why I've been hoarding so much. And also, I think, you know, for the exchanges like we talked about earlier, they need to be refreshed more. Changes to it overall would be nice. More than 50 people on your friends list would be nice as well, so you can, you know, when you want to when you do these giveaways and stuff, you need a bigger friends list. You don't have to keep on removing people. That'd be kind of nice. Number 4 here, for potions to gold exchange or make potions more expensive, because I mean, people have so many potions. Like you could probably get like a character from 0 to 70 and you still wouldn't notice it in your potion. That's just how unimportant potions. I mean, they are important, but just like they are important, but just the mechanics how they are spent just make them seem irrelevant. So they need to like make them more expensive in terms of like how much you get, or disbursement is less. Either or is, I think, gonna make potions more lucrative in that sense. Number 5, adjustments to tower and summoner score challenges more. They need to really increase the gold disbursement again in summoners challenges, and it wouldn't hurt them to give more betas and gammas for sure, maybe some alphas too. For tower, you know, they could add towers so they can add more spells, for instance, into the game, or just make them replayable. Honestly, just make it, they need to do something with tower, or make the towers almost endless. You know, if you get to like level 50 or something like that, make it, I would say, you know, make tower go up to like tower 100, for instance. And there's checkpoints, and you get rewards at each checkpoint you make, and it refreshes every day or every 2 days, something like that, so that you can possibly get to the top. Or every week. They can make it a weekly thing where if you get to the top, you get these rewards, but it's based off power level, so that it's the modifiers of the enemies are obviously proportionate to where you are at the game, and I think that's going to be part of the PvE content they could bring to the game. And lastly, club rankings in the game similar to DSA.fan. I'd love to see the top 100 teams live refreshing in the club rankings every day. Whenever I check the game, like see where your club ranks and stuff like that, and summoner score, all these type of things, and you able to check each other's roster just like in Swaga. I think those type of things should be in the game. I don't know why it's not in the game, but those type of things should be in the game, and I think it'd make the game much more playable. And again, I apologize if you were Siren. Can't do anything about that, guys. I apologize. Lastly, I think this is one. Maybe this is my favorite topic: the DSA community. I said earlier, I think, was it like modifiers my favorite, or whichever one I said is my favorite. This is actually really my favorite. So we just had a lot of breakthroughs in the DSA community the last couple of days, last week or so, basically like since Christmas until today, which is actually New Year's Eve when I'm recording this. Had a lot of breakthroughs in terms of YouTubers and Twitch streamers, and I think for the DSA community in 2021, we definitely will have more partnered streamers on Twitch. It may be one more, maybe two more, and maybe 10 more. I think it's gonna be awesome to see where the DSA community moves in that direction. Number two, more communication between Glue and the content creators. I'd love to see test accounts for the content creators. I'd love to see communication between Glue and the community a little bit better, more just disclosures and stuff like that. Summoners Council, yeah, you could disclose that a little bit more, make more sense. Remember before I was like really disgruntled about it, but at this point it's like nothing's really come about it, so it's almost irrelevant at this point. Number three, overall growth in the community while still keeping up the uniqueness and positivity of our community has. Our community is amazing, guys. If you've ever been in a Call of Duty lobby or anything like that, the toxic nature of those lobbies and stuff is unbelievable. And I'm glad that in DSA, and again, if you watched my video yesterday with my 7-month review, I talked about I had a run-in with the Swagger community, and no knock to the Swagger community, just I think I hit some bad apples in the bunch, but I don't think I've ever experienced that or will ever experience that in the DSA community. I hope so, and I hope that DSA is a young game, but we just have such a unique and special community. It's just, like I said yesterday, it's an unreal positivity. And I'm so glad that we have that, and I'm so glad that content creators, or all of us, I haven't met a bad content creator yet, like with a bad personality or that was mean or rude or anything like that. So I'm glad that also in that sense, there's a lot of positivity there as well. So I'm just looking forward to see what the community can bring in 2021. I'd love to see more community interactions in the game. I think there should be like a section in the game where they can put like all the content creators, their channels when they're live. I think someone called it DSA TV. I remember seeing in the comment section somewhere, I forgot. But I'd love to see that in the game so you can see, okay, SHD has posted a video, or Smart's posted a video, or Juice is live, Sky High is live, or Default Dan, get an Edna guest. Who else? I'm Crixus. Who wants Disney Daddy, Cozy, all these guys, I'd love to see that in the game. And I'm sorry if any content creators are watching, I miss you guys. Apologies for that. And also all the Discord servers that we have, why not more? That would be awesome. So it's just amazing what this community has done, and I'm so happy for it. And I'm so happy, like I said, I'd love to see more partner streamers on Twitch, more affiliates, more people getting monetized on YouTube as well would be awesome as well. I just think, the content creators have put so much heart and soul into their creations. There's gonna be a lot of like new things coming out. I know we have like some charity stuff that behind the scenes that we've been talking about and whatnot. So definitely looking forward to that, and hopefully you guys will be a part of that as well. So anyways, that is really it, guys. That's our 2020 in review and our 2021 looking to the future of the game, what the game can bring us. And I hope this can be an annual thing so that we can really take a look back and see where the community has gone, the game has gone, and what we can look for in the future. Because, of course, you can't go forward looking backwards. So anyways, guys, thank you so much. I appreciate everything you guys have done, and I hope that you guys have had a pleasant holiday season. Happy New Year. I know this is going to be released on New Year's Day, so you guys will have a great video to watch on New Year's Day. So I appreciate all you guys' support, all you guys' love, and I hope you guys enjoy DSA, like, subscribe, everything like that. And also, thank you again, guys, for 150 subscribers. We did hit it, and please, if you haven't done so yet, like and subscribe, and go check out the Twitch stream, check out our Discord, everything like that. I appreciate it so much. Thank you guys, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good one.